Hey everyone, my name is James. I'm trying something new here with the Better Band Bureau this week and the next couple weeks as well. I have an interview with the band Pickwick Commons from Indianapolis, Indiana, and they share some of their tips, tricks, and secrets into being a successful DIY band touring on the road. They just put out a new album called Weak Bones, and they are doing several short tours in support of the album. Without further ado, here's a little more information about them, some of their music, and also part one of the interview with Pickwick Commons.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Adam. We're Pickwick Commons.
And this is the Better Band Bureau.
I have Brandon and Adam from Pickwick Commons. They're from Indiana, and they're on the road here in Vermont right now on show 4 or 5? 5?
This is show 6.
Show 6.
Already. That's awesome. Yeah. Of a tour that's just over a week long. One of the reasons I started the Better Band Bureau was to help bands learn from each other, because there's not a lot of people who are out there actively helping aside from others in their local scene. So if we can make this a more widespread national thing, I would love to see that, or maybe even international. And so Pickwick Commons is all DIY. Brandon and Adam manage the band together. And I just was wondering, what's the management split between the two of you? Do you have things that each of you cover, or is it just kind of...
Definitely.
Brandon deals with a lot of, tracking merch and orders, building out the van. As you can see, there's a bunk bed behind us. He did all of that with his little helper, Wes.
Yeah. Also, our trailer, which they're in right now, is kind of shaking the van.
Yeah. So, and he handles all of that. We communicate about big money decisions, and we discuss, what tour opportunities we want to pursue together. Everyone weighs in, but it tends to be a lot of back and forth between me and Brandon about what's really going to pay off. And then the other split would be I do a lot of the booking aspect.
I also do our day-to-day social media work, so yes. I'm making any Instagram posts that are also going through Facebook, making sure people are tagged, keeping our Instagram stories interesting every day we're on the road as much as I can, and just responding to comments as fast as I can, just being on top of if someone's commenting hey, when are you coming here, what's going on, what time are you guys playing, just getting on those comments, because keeping your responses up keeps you in people's feeds.
Yep. And then I guess the other thing I would handle is the social media ads.
Yeah.
I run a lot of ads.
Yeah, Adam is the ad specialist. Adam did so many Facebook ads with our recent DIY release that Facebook contacted him and asked him if he wanted lessons on how to run ads. So
yeah, I got to call a call from a specialist at Facebook, which is really just someone they train over the phone, but they still had a lot of really good info.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what kind of threshold Facebook looks for before they...
So there's not a super big threshold. I recently got that to pop up for a company I run called Sleeper Music, which is local promo and booking. It's basically just a resume piece from booking for Pickwick. And they recently had the same thing pop up there. So I don't think the threshold is high. I think it's just after you get into the actual ads manager, instead of just clicking boost post, and you mess around there long enough, they have that option pop up, which is something everyone should look into, because boosting posts is nowhere near what you could be doing if you get in there.
Yeah, before we had just kind of been blindly release a song or a video and kind of throw some money at it and hope that it did something, and while it did something, it wasn't the most efficient we could be. So Adam dove in and was let's see if there's something more to this, and it turns out there is. So
yeah. And on the note of ads, do you do any retargeting for people who visit your website?
Yes. So we have a pixel. So our website is run through Wix, which is something Brandon built a lot of.
That's another thing I did a lot of. Yeah.
And the pixel tracks everyone who visits the website. And then what I can do is I can either target ads on people who visit the website but didn't buy, which is supposed to be a lot more higher conversion rate for sales, or I can create a lookalike audience of the 100 people that visit your website all like these bands. Essentially, Facebook does this themselves. You don't actually click like these bands, and it takes that type of person and it shows your ads to a bunch of people like them. So if you have a website, look into Pixels.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are using Pixel. I assume if you're in the Better Band Bureau, at least you or someone in your band's like heard of Joey Sturgis. Like, I know he's a big producer, and I've seen him like rave about Pixel and stuff before. Like, he clearly is running a very successful business with all of his plugins and programs, and he's basically right up the same alley as our genre and what he's doing, and Pixel's working for him really well. So
yeah,
I mean, it's all big companies are using it, and luckily bands have the option to use it as well. It's a good tool.
Yeah, and for anyone watching, I definitely encourage you to look into this, because retargeting and lookalike audiences are basically the cheapest ads out there on Facebook. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck if you're using those tools. That's not to say don't use anything else, but if you're just starting out, that would be the first thing I encourage you to really look into, because it's going to be the most cost-effective, at least for now. And then, Adam, going back to what you said about you do the booking, do you also do the tour management side of things, or do you share that?
Yeah, so as far as, when's load in, communicating with the promoter at the venue and before the venue, that is me. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to it. Personally, I don't think there's too much to do, just because everyone but some wake up and drive and do that. So there's not a whole lot going on that aspect personally.
As we grow, there definitely could be a lot more responsibilities thrown on as tour manager. I mean, some tour managers are handling thousands and thousands of dollars of merch every night and scheduling hotels and buses and all sorts of, there's way more deadlines and times to meet every day. So since we're not there yet, like, it's something that I think Adam handles pretty easily on his own, and we also help out a little bit as needed. So
yeah.
All right. And then Bren, we were talking yesterday a little bit on Facebook Messenger about how you're doing 4 roughly week-long release tours for the new album, which is called Weak Bones.
Yes.
What was the release date for that again?
March 15th.
Yeah, March 15th.
March 15th, so just under 2 months ago. And where can people find it?
It is literally everywhere, but if you want to help us out, just stream it on Spotify over and over again, because right now that's like, Adam could speak more to Spotify because he's been focusing on it like non-stop for the last 6 months, but Spotify is where we are really pushing as many people as we can. So, I mean, it's everywhere. Use whatever streaming service you do. But if you're on Spotify, please check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, you heard them on that. And then, regarding those 4 week-long tours, can you talk a little bit about your motivation to split it up into multiple shorter tours rather than one long tour?
Yeah. So as a DIY band, and doing it all yourself, having those gaps in tours allows me to focus on the booking of each one individually and make sure the dates are good. It allows us to finance the tours a lot better, because those are all coming out right after the record, and we're dumping a lot of ad money in prior to the record. If we were to do a month-long tour immediately after, we'd all come home broke. So splitting it up made it a lot better financially, and because of where we're located in Indianapolis, we basically went, a diagonal direction from where we were each time. Which
northwest first, then southeast. We're currently on northeast, and then we have a southwest run coming up shortly after this.
Yeah, and that allows us to hit 3/4 of the country with really manageable tours that we can really focus on, the dates mattering, and less flops.
Quality over quantity was the biggest focus, honestly, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Not to say that a month-long tour wouldn't make money, because it definitely can. It's just that there's not really enough to pay ourselves as well as we could be paying ourselves by just staying home and working our day jobs for a week or two in between each run. And a month-long tour is also stressful. I mean, you're living in a van with 4 people, and a month is a long time.
Yeah, there's a time and place for those tours, and it's not DIY.
Yeah, we've done what was the longest tour we did?
We did 2 3-week tours in late 2017, and I would say while those tours were important to building our name
and learning just for ourselves.
They definitely had could have been done a lot better if we had taken a step back and segmented those a little bit.
Yeah. Live and learn.
Yeah, and there's also, I did a video on doing several smaller runs in different directions, like the guys were mentioning. There will be a link either up here or down in the description, depending on where you're watching. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just like a little 3 or 4 minute blurb, you can check that out.
All right, everyone, I hope you really enjoyed part 1 of my interview with Pickwick Commons. Go check out their website at pickwickcommonsband.com and look out for parts 2 and 3 of this interview. Next week on part 2 of the interview, which drops Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll talk about the biggest challenge that they face as a DIY band planning their own tour. Additionally, we'll cover how they overcome that issue so they can be successful, and they're doing a pretty good job at it, if I do say so myself. So, check out the interview part 2 next week at 4 p.m. And as an added bonus, next week we'll also be discussing budget and potential sponsorships. Again, next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you have an awesome week, and until next week.